All right, good morning. It is Tuesday, September the 3rd, 2024. We hope everyone had a nice long Labor Day weekend. Uh, Caitlin and I, my wife, we actually celebrated our 13th anniversary over the weekend. So, big thanks to my mom and dad. They actually flew down from Minnesota and they took our two older kids. We had to keep our little guy. He's still nursing, but so the three of us went up to the mountains. Had a really nice, quiet weekend in much cooler temperatures. So that was really really nice. In terms of markets last week, relatively quiet. Okay, which of course, when we're in our busy review season, which last week was week one. Great, really nice reviews. But when we're in our busy review season, I certainly don't mind the more quiet global markets, if you will. On our end, it definitely it means when markets are more quiet on our end, it means that there's less trading we need to do for like rebalancing portfolios and things. So we certainly welcome that if it wants to keep that up for the next 5 weeks or so. I would be okay with that. I would say the biggest headline coming out of last week was kind of a tech favorite, Nvidia. Okay, so Nvidia, which has just been an incredible story over the last couple years, reported earnings, and the numbers were great. The problem is just not great enough. Okay, and what I mean by that is, and this is a problem that a lot of growth companies run into at some point. Yeah, just the first name that comes to mind, and it's not a great comparison, but like Tesla, when it was running up, going crazy, whatever that was 5-6 years ago, because growth stocks, it reaches a point where the multiple that you pay, so a lot of times I'll say valuations are stretched on a certain stock, that just means like the stock price has drifted so far from like the underlying whether it's earnings or revenue, cash flows, whatever the denominator you want it to be, like the valuation just gets stretched at some point, right? So like Nvidia was trading at something like 60 times earnings, 60 times earnings, which like that's a really really big multiple. So for a stock like that to continue to do really really well, it has to blow past expectations. And so when it came out and it reported some record earnings and revenues last week, it wasn't good enough, right? So the stock went down, I think it was 8% last week. Nvidia was down. I would point out though, it's an encouraging follow-up. I had heard some economists come out and say, well, if Nvidia doesn't do well and the stock goes down, it'll likely drag down the entire market with it. Clearly they were wrong, okay, because the broader equity markets around the world did just fine last week. Yeah, again, relatively flat, up a little bit actually, even with Nvidia, kind of that tech favorite, being down 8%. So I don't know, encouraging note there. But again, it just goes to show, like, the price you pay for future growth matters. Just tying it back to Nvidia, which again, for our clients, in the diversified ETFs that we own, like we own a small piece of Nvidia. It's really important that you own the hundreds of other companies that are more boring and have better valuation metrics, like a Costco or a Lowe's, right? Just many of the more boring, well-known names. So looking out at this week, okay, so the date I have circled on my calendar is Friday. To be more specific, Friday morning, we are going to receive the August employment data. Okay, so if you recall last month, so we got some sirens going behind me. So if we look at last month, the first couple weeks of August were a lot of volatility in the market, and it really started from this report last month. Okay, so we received the July employment data. It wasn't great, and so that's some market volatility, kind of ramped up from that. And then, the last handful of weeks, as most are aware, the market's done quite well. It kind of shrugged off that news, just given some better than expected inflation data. But we'll see. So this, I feel like this August number is going to be an important one, though, just because it'll either confirm a trend with the employment data, like things are deteriorating, or was July just kind of a one-off surprise. So we hope everyone has a great week. Excited to get reviews going here again for week 2 here very shortly. So questions, comments, concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out. We love hearing from you. So we hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.